Hello everyone, welcome to my third online lesson. Today's topic is applying the principles of fitness. In other words, we're going to be looking at how we have to train to make sure that we are ready to perform in our respective sports and activities. First principle we're going to look at is specificity, which means training should be specific to the needs of an individual and the demands of the sport they take part in. On this slide, you'll see a photo of Adam Jamili, who is a Great Britain sprinter. Now, when Jamili's training, there's no point him doing long distance runs such as 10K, because he wouldn't do that when he's competing. He would only ever run 100 or 200 meters. So him running for long distances wouldn't really improve his ability to sprint. When Jamili's training, he would generally focus on his speed and power because that's specific to the 100 and 200 meters. And this would apply to most sprinters. I recently had a conversation with a sprinter who went to their local park to do a 5K run. And within about 2-3 minutes, their body had completely cramped up because their body was so attuned to sprinting and not running long distances. So when you're training for your sport, you have to ensure that you are training specifically for the needs and demands of that sport. Next is overload, which simply means working harder than normal. An example of this is if you go down to the gym and you are bench pressing and you can bench press 60 kg, the next session you have in the gym, you should be aiming to bench press more. So next session, perhaps you try to bench press 62.5 kg. So trying to incrementally improve how much you can lift. And this would also apply to long distance running. Can you slowly but incrementally increase how much you are able to run over amount of time? And this will cause overload. If you don't try and progress how much you can lift or run, you are just maintaining rather than improving your physical conditioning. Next is progression, which is very similar to overload, but in essence, progression means that training should progress in terms of how hard or how intense it is. So, for example, if you go to your local park for your 5K and that 5K becomes particularly easy, you notice you're not really getting out of breath, you probably need to increase the intensity that you run that 5K in so it becomes harder for you. So in essence, progression means when training becomes too easy, you should be aiming to increase how hard it is or how intense it is to increase the overload level. As I said in the previous slide, if you don't progress how hard or how intense your training is, you are just maintaining your physical condition rather than improving it. Lastly is reversibility, which simply means if an individual stops or decreases their training level, then fitness and performance is likely to drop. Now, there's two photos of Tyson Fury on this slide. The one on the right is just before his fight with Derek Chisora. You'll notice that he's in good nick. He's been training hard in preparation for the fight to make sure he's ready, and he subsequently won that fight. Now, the photo on the left is several months after the fight. He had received a drugs ban, so he didn't have any motivation of a fight to train for. So Fury's training practically stopped, or at least decreased. And for that reason, his performance and fitness dropped dramatically. And you'll notice in the photo on the left that he's not in particularly good shape for a world heavyweight champion. So to summarize, reversibility means that if you stop or decrease your levels of training, then all the gains you've worked so hard for, you will lose. So even in the off season, it's a good idea to continue some form of training just to ensure that you do not suffer from reversibility. That is the end of the lesson. Now, just a little task as you go away from this lesson. Can you apply the principles of fitness to improve your own performance? Thank you for listening, and I hope you watch my next lesson.